Hello, welcome back. You are with me, Cilla, on Choice Bits of Bliss. I'm going to be rambling today, and I'll try my best not to sound like a raving lunatic, but I have a lot on my mind, and I want to kind of talk through it. If you think you can't do a lot of damage in 2 years, I would invite you to look in my room because from 2018 until September of 2020, I went on a crazy spending frenzy trying to catch up for the time that I was not scrapbooking, which was from I want to say at the mid to end of 2009 is when I stopped until 2000, the end of 2017 when I actively got back into my supplies. At the end of 2017, when I started feeling that craving to scrapbook again, I was fine with the supplies that I had that I already owned. I hadn't shopped in 8 years and I was cool with it. Then I wanted inspiration. So, on a whim, I searched for scrapbooking on YouTube and opened up a whole new world that I didn't even know existed. I didn't know about mixed media, so I had to buy all the mixed media things. New companies had come on to the scene. Well, I had to buy their stuff. I missed a lot of really cool products, so I started digging around and trying to find them. I can try to go through a lot of the emotional and psychological things that were going on in my life at the time and in my brain and try to rationalize this. The end result is that I bought too much. And that's why we're sitting here looking at this tray of pocket cards, because this is an example of something that I bought way, way too much of. There were sets that I bought duplicates of. And I've touched on that before. I'll mention it again. A lot of the reasons for duplicates in my space is because we bought a house in New York in 2019. And when we would come north to check on the house, have vacations here, whatever, before we were able to move in permanently, my husband worked from home. So I needed something to do to pass that time away. So I would scrapbook. And there was a fantastic Tuesday morning up here at that time, and I would shop. I would buy things that I had in Alabama, I would buy them again up here. So much during that time was in flux and uncertain. We didn't know when we were going to get to move up here permanently. So it felt safe to go ahead and buy duplicates because, I'm going to use them. I'll use it. I was great at lying to myself. And I accumulated so much product that when we did move here permanently, I became aghast and overwhelmed and a little scared. I even felt somewhat ashamed. I say somewhat because I was embarrassed that I had allowed myself to go so far overboard, and ashamed of the money. Because when you see that sort of gross negligence, there's money involved. I spent a lot of money that didn't, and it's not that we can't afford it. It's not about the fact that I was putting us in dire straits. That is not the case. It's just the gross amount of overage. And yes, there was money attached to that. Okay, so my friends and I were chatting, and we were talking. We would constantly talk about, our inventory, what we're working on, whatever. And I mentioned that I was playing around with the idea of reducing my colored cardstock. So before that becomes alarming to you, back in the early, the late 1990s, the early 2000s, before pattern paper became the rage, I bought a lot of cardstock, and it's cheap, it was thin, and I've carried that with me ever since the last, I started scrapbooking in 1999. But so the all the way up until 2009, for 10 years, I bought colored cardstock. And when the textured cardstock came onto the scene, I had to have that. So I had a lot of this stuff. I ended up with my neutrals, uh, 3 cubbies of colored cardstock and my neutrals. Now, my neutrals are what I reach for all the time: my blacks, my creams, and my whites. My colored cardstock, not so much. I really don't. And since I moved it up here and stuck it in the overflow, I think I've only gone to it one time, and it was for a Christmas project, and I needed some red. That's it. That's it. And we've been living here for over 3 years now. I haven't gone to my colored cardstock. So I wanted to get down to 1 cubby and in the overflow room, then and just donate the rest of it to school or to a teacher or something. So I did. I pared it down. I am so happy. What I have is good quality colored cardstock. If I use it, that's fantastic. If I do not, I'll address that in the future. So I got on this roll of purging, and the conversation turned to pocket cards because I unpacked a box because I needed a box to put that cardstock in, and I unpacked a box that was supposed to have been office supplies from my old craft space that I had not unpacked. And there was office supplies, the normal things, tape and staples, but at the bottom of that box was this tray. And I sent a picture of it to my friends. I said, I could just kick myself in the hiney because I didn't even know this was in here. So I decided to address these. And I spent several hours on a Friday evening, and I finished up this morning. So when I say a Friday evening, it was like, yeah, last night. I don't know why I said it that way. Anyway, and I decided I wanted these to serve 2 functions. I love, when I go on Pinterest, I love going to Katie Petit's designs. They automatically pop up in my feed now because I go to it so often. I love the layering. So that was the first thought process. I wanted some for layering. And then I wanted some to serve for actual journaling like this. So this needs to be refined. I want to put the ones that I've chosen for layering. I need to put those in color sequence. And then, to the side, just have one for my journaling. And then this is it. I'm going to slide some photos in here to show you what I purged and what I have left. I feel no hesitancy about this. I have no qualms about getting rid of the rest of it because some of these sets I had duplicates of. I haven't touched them since I packed them up from leaving Alabama. And I had even set stuff out right here at my desk to use, and I haven't used them. So I'm okay with this. I'm good. We all have to address our space and our supplies in a manner that suits our lives and our work process. This isn't going to work for everyone, but If you're in a situation like me, I'm going to encourage you to look at your pocket cards a little differently. Look at the layering aspect. So this side doesn't intrigue me at all. It's not something that I want. But this side, yes. I can definitely layer with these products. So that I'm happy with. That's all I want to share about that. Give me 1 second. I need to pause and then I'll bring the next project up. On my Facebook group, Crafty Low or No Spend, we have a challenge this weekend using our scraps. So once a month, we address scraps. And the prompt is to take 3 pieces of white cardstock, or you can take any color you want. I'm going to use white. I'm going to cut these in half and going to make some card bases. I'm going to probably need 2 more sheets to make panels. So let's do that. And I've pulled some recent projects that I've been working on. I pulled the scraps from them, and I'm going to make cards. I also have a leftover sheet of stickers that I can pull from if I want to, or no, it doesn't matter. The whole purpose is to quickly, no, don't think about it too hard, just grab some scraps, put them down, make a card, and even better, send it out. Now, in the group, I've said let's not make sentiments just yet, because in week 3, we focus on stamping. And so we're going to put our sentiments on our cards in week 3 this month. But I wanted to share that with you, that thought. You might enjoy that as well. If you want to join us over at the Crafty Low or No Spend group, I very much encourage you to. We try to just use our products. That's it. That's the whole goal, is just to use our products. I am going on to rambling spot number 3. I'm resetting my desk, basically. And I don't know if I'm going to share that process or not, because it's a mad mess right now, and it's just a mad mess. But I'm trying to make it more functional. One of the things that has been stressing me out is I had my tools out over to the right, and they get in the way of, like when I'm hanging out with friends, it gets in the way of me hanging out with my friends. They can see my tools between us. I have a tiny space. There's not a lot I can do about that, but I can move those tools out of the way. So I cleaned out a drawer and I put my tools so that they're easy to reach, easy to access, and I'm happy with that decision. The reason I have an extra drawer is because, and it just comes full circle, I had those pocket cards in a drawer, and now all the pocket cards that I own are in that tiny little tray. I cannot tell you, I can't even begin to explain to you how happy I am about that. So happy. Now, I have alleviated space in the overflow room, and since I had empty cubbies here across the desk from me, I decided to go ahead and bring in my colored cardstock, because it's down to 1 cubby now. All of my by color categories is on the top shelf going across directly in front of me. So then when I look up, that's what I'm looking at, is my color separated pattern paper, my neutrals, and then my colored cardstock. I'm super happy with that. It goes against what I have been saying. I didn't want to bring paper back in here, but that was also in conflict with me saying I want to bring the overflow into this space. Then I want to work down what's across from me so that it goes behind me. And then that becomes all the paper that I have. So ultimately, I am achieving my goals, this may sound a little manic because I'm working pretty hard at reaching these goals. I have somewhat of an end game because this space, me being up on the third floor, is going to come to an end eventually. We are in talks with an architect to do the addition that we want to do downstairs. That's going to create a joined room between my husband and I that we will be able to be in the same space, uh, relax. I'll be able to do crafting. He can watch games or whatever. It's what we used to do in Alabama. We used to be together, and I loved that. When I'm crafting, I love that. And it's the one thing that I miss the most. So, um, I need to get busy in reducing what I have, what I want to keep, having that hard uh having that hard line in my mind. Okay, this is what's going forward with me. There's so much old product that I had from those first 10 years of scrapbooking that, yes, a lot of it's still good and usable and I like it, but there's some that, like that colored cardstock, I didn't reach for it. And when I would go to get colored cardstock, I didn't want the old stuff because it was thin. A lot of it even had a white background. When I started pulling it out, I was like, I don't even remember that. So, um, when I say white, I mean it was colored on one side and on the other side it was white. So it's just old. It's a lot of old stuff. And I have said before, sharing my paper pads, getting rid of the things that I know I won't use, that doesn't bother me. Getting rid of that cardstock does not bother me in the least. Getting rid of those pocket cards didn't bother me in the least. It's way overdue, and it's just taking up space, and I have allowed it. I have allowed it to take up really valuable real estate in my room. Okay, I think I have rattled on enough for this video. We're going to call it quits. Come back. We're going to find something else to chat about, I promise you. And I can't wait until we do. Bye-bye.